If you have gray clouds, gray to dark clouds, then you have a sense of nervousness. You have a sense of hopelessness, like it's going to rain, the weather is bad, and you have to cancel your plans if you have any. But then you start seeing blue skies and this feeling that comes over you that you can plan, go ahead with your scheme, go ahead with your program, because there's hope that the weather is going to subside, the rain will stop, and it will all be fair again. That's what blue brings out. It's a significant color, and those who align themselves with it must understand what's the meaning and significance of that color, and don't desecrate it. Don't associate yourself with good if you know that you represent the total and complete opposite. So instead, what Wynne should invent a color that speaks of who he is, not they are. He is. Because Wynne is all about Azruddin Muhammad. Wynne has nothing to do with the rest of his crowd. It has to do with him. It's just about him. That's the whole point of the Wynne Party. We invest in me. Should be, instead of win, WIM. WIM. We invest in me. WIM, not win. But the win suits him because he invests in Negroes. So that suits him. But in fact, it is we invest in me, Azruddin Muhammad. And I invest in Negroes, as in criminals, murderers, thieves, vagabonds, prostitutes, whores, sluts, scraps, lowlifes, scums, outcasts. That's what his party represents. So today, I want to get down to it. We just have 3 weeks for D-Day, V-Day, V-Day, Victory Day, Victory Day, not voting, Victory Day, just under 3 weeks for V-Day. And we cannot allow any distractions, any unnecessary distractions. We can't allow that. So at the end of the next 3 weeks, I want to make sure that as many of you procrastinate whatever plans you have for that day, or the day before, or the day after, procrastinate it. And dedicate that day. 3 days I'm asking you to dedicate. Elections Eve, Elections Day, and the day after elections. The Elections Eve, I want you to do your shopping. Cut all your meat. Get all your things together. Put up your balloons or your lights or whatever you have. Decorate your surroundings. Elections Day morning, whatever hour the polls open to start voting, Before you leave your homes, double check, make sure you walk with your ID card or whatever documentation you need to verify you are who you are. Go out there to your polling station. If you have to swim, jump, drive, run, crawl, however you need to get there, get to that polling station and vote. And I'm going to tell you who you should vote for in case you don't have an idea. For the PPP, for the COP. You see the COP there? Vote for it. Because that COP represents your bank account. That COP represents, for women, your womb. That COP represents, for men, your scrotum. That COP represents, for singles, this finger. That COP represents your application, your job application, your insurance, your future land, your future house, your visa, your travel plans. That COP represents all of that. So you are guaranteed, when you vote on that COP, pregnant or ladies who have a desire to be pregnant, but for some reason the man ain't shooting straight, I'll tell you this. Tell that man, if he wants his sperm counts to get fucking rich, put his vote on that COP. The reason why he can't shoot straight or them little boys can't swim, it is because he was sheltering under the palm tree that doesn't bear any fucking fruit. He's a hungry ass, low nutrition, low energy, lazy man that needs alcohol to get it up. And the alcohol can only get it up so far, but not the power to send them boys swimming. So by the time he thinks he's climaxing, that is just the pre-cum. The pre-cum, the rest of the sperm is like, fuck, we can't make it. We are too tired. We need nutrients, fucking iron. Get out from under the palm tree. Get out. Witchcraft fucks up your dick. Opium messes with your sex life. Cause them demons want fucking too. Them demons need some sperm. So when you are messing around the PNC camp and the Obia at nights, them Bornum demons, they're sucking that sperm out your dick. So you have none to give to the woman. She is there thinking that she's barren, not knowing the problem is that asshole that she's in a relationship with that is voting for the PNC. So tell that man, buddy, it's time we start a family. And if you don't want a family, hey, at least make some sense in my life. Give me a baby. Vote PPP. Because if I'm going out September 1st, I'm voting. And after I know I put my ex on that cup, and I walk out of that polling station with a wet pussy, you better have a fucking dick to put in there. And if you come telling me, oh honey, I'm tired. You see how long I stood there in line? You know I want to vote for the PPP, but I couldn't wait so long. Oh darling, let me sleep a bit. Let me go get a shot of rum. You know he voted PNC. As long as he have that weak excuse, you know that's some PNC talking coming there. So right away you say, buddy, this is where I say so long. I'm going back at the polling booth and I'm looking at the crutches of all those guys with a hard on. I know that's PPP. And call one of them and say, hey, I need a baby. We bought the cup, so let's fuck. You think I'm joking? You think this is funny? You think I'm trying to adapt some sense of humor? I know what I'm saying. Ladies, I know what I'm saying. Don't waste your time in a relationship where the man can't get you pregnant. You know he's a PNC. He is a PNC if he can't get you pregnant. He's a fucking PNC. Give him one more chance, September 1st. Tell him if you don't come out of that polling station with a hard on, I know you voted PNC. Because real men are always horny. The other type of men need some stimulation. Anal stimulation. Secondly, you want that house, right? You want that land? When you come out of the polling station on September 1st, it's already in your hand. That house lot, that house is already in your hand. When you walk out of that polling station, September 1st, you want that visa. When you walk out of that polling station, it's in your passport. The job you want. Everything that you ever thought and imagined that you deserve, September 1st is your approval stamp. After that, you apply yourself to all the offices, areas to which you know can provide you with the things that you know you deserve. And I guarantee you, you will find it after September 1st. So all the complaints that you have right now, save it. Put it on a piece of paper. Write it down. Make a note of it. And September 2nd, revisit those same complaints and tell me after. Tell me what happens after that. But you don't do yourself that injustice and align yourself with the curse, with the worst thing that has ever happened to modern Guyana. Guyana needed to be abolished from the PNC. Guyana needed freedom from the PNC. You see, the ancestors of the African who were brought in the ships got their freedom from the slave masters that bought them. Forbes Barnum thought that he owned Guyana. He bought and paid for Guyana. So therefore, his party has the deed to that country, the PNC. They have the deed to that country. So they saw then, and they see today, the PPP, the Jaganites, as invaders, as foreigners who came in to annex Guyana from the PNC. That's how they see the PPP, as a foreign party that came in and somehow seduced their way into the government. They are what you call a naturalized citizen. They're not Guyanese. The party wasn't founded in Guyana. It was not the first party in Guyana. No, they came after. So therefore, if ever the PPP finds themselves in power, according to the PNC, it must be rigged because they don't deserve to rule Guyana, because Guyana somehow belongs to Barnum. And he has handed it over, passed it down to his offsprings. Hoyt, Granger. And now this boy thinks that he is next in line for the throne. Yes, boy, Aubrey Norton, because he's now learning how to speak English. So he's a boy. Real men don't speak like that. Real men say Abi and Ayo. Abi and Ayo. Never mind. Real men talk Guyanese. He's trying to talk something else that doesn't fit. Babbling like a baby. That's what he does. So the question I have to you, the Guyanese audience, and since I have stumbled upon this story, because it is my passion to rid Guyana of elements of destruction and chaos, anything that has to do with that will get my attention and therefore solicit my support. So, who owns the Guyana Police Force? Specifically, in particular, the Guyana Police Force. Who owns it? That organization. Is it owned by the people of Guyana? Is it owned by the government? Whatever government occupies the seat of government? Is it owned by a non-profit organization? Is it owned by a business conglomerate? Or is it owned by a family? Based on what I've seen over the past few months, before the sanctions, after the sanctions, and all that has come to light during the time of the sanctions, it is my conclusion that Azharuddin Mohammed is the head of the Guyana Police Force. It is my conclusion. He is the head, and therefore he controls and has influence over all the departments that comes under law enforcement. This single man controls the Guyana Police Force, whose members are largely made up of Afro-Guyanese blacks. Because again, I never liked the term Afro-Guyanese because Afro is not a word. It's a slang. It's a back in the day when you have high hair, kinky hair, then it says Afro. It's Afro, and it has been adapted to recognize people of African descent as Afro. But how does that fit? Because there are a lot of black people that don't have Afro or can't get Afro. So I've never supported that term. Negro, that's it. So the Guyana Police Force is largely made up of Negroes that are supposedly controlled by one individual of East Indian background, Azharuddin Mohammed. Allegedly. Because every situation that has some kind of rhythm, every social situation that has a rhythm of Azharuddin, it cannot find continuity with the Guyana Police Force. But everybody else, they are pursued if their rhythm finds its way into the attention of the Guyana police. Again, I say we had situations where the now president, Irfan Ali, faced the brutality of the Negroes in the police force under the Granger administration. He faced it. Jag deal. So many PPP toppers who are now in government can attest to the professionalism and the strict policies and the no-nonsense investigation of the Guyana police force. You can applaud them because under the PNC, they seem to have functioned efficiently. Is it that blacks are afraid of blacks? So a black government can get more out of the black police force than a so-called Indian government, even though the Minister of Home Affairs is a black man from Linden? What am I to understand with that? I thought the police force should be bipartisan and professional and pursue criminals wherever and whomever the crime leads to. So we have now President Irfan Ali, and I've been saying this since the Doubleday, since the days of the Doubleday disaster, and they destroyed the Indian property, they harassed the Indian people, they spat on and cursed and cyberbullied Indo-Guyanese. I've recounted the incidents in the 2020, post-2020 elections, the threats, the social danger that the Indians faced. I've shared a story where a 16-year-old Indian teen recounted her horror on the East Coast Road on her way to depart Guyana, what she and her grandmother suffered, mobbed, beaten, had their jewelry stolen. Yep. In 2020. Where was the professionalism of the Guyana police force then? After then, the Doubleday Hotel, and I want to, in more particular, talk about what I started talking about yesterday and what a lot of the newscasts or the so-called news agencies in Guyana did not focus on. The kidnappings, and one particular kidnapping that was masterminded by the man who played victim to that lunatic, Travis Chase, in that so-called interview that was never supposed to surface, Junior Bashk. I wanted to highlight and expound on that incident where he was directly named and had his boss implicated, his boss, Azruddin Muhammad, implicated in the brutal kidnappings, torture, threats, beatings of Indo-Guyanese on the premise of them unwilling to repay debt and wanted to confiscate their properties in exchange for a so-called 48 million Guyana dollars debt. So while he surfaced and talked about how he is fearful for his life by what one Tamesh Jagmohan, whom was his former employer, supposedly wanted to do to him, he came out and did an interview or something like that. It was in fact giving his confession. That was him giving confession to his crimes. He owned everything. He simply implicated other people, and sadly the president's mother. But he owned everything and brushed off the role that Ashruddin Muhammad played in the whole scenario. You see, the United States, in their wisdom, they cover everywhere. When they bring something out, they don't come with hearsay. The Americans and the courts, we don't want hearsay, evidence. We don't want this one said that and that one said that. No, those people are not present to defend themselves. So all the bullshit in the Junior Bash revelations, the bullshit about calling people's names, that is not admissible anywhere. Those people have to be there present to defend themselves. And even before such a statement is publicized, if the police has had access to that tape, or the police had that recording, the police would have had to contact all the people who were mentioned and say, hey, this is the situation, your name is called here, would you like to respond? Would you like to come in and let's see? That's it. So I was against any of the individuals responding. The Jagmahan should not have responded. All the other people should not have responded. It's bullshit. It's nonsense. You quietly sue him, because this is not something they sent to these people directly. It came out before the whole community on social media. It's not private anymore. And the PNC operatives are using it to tie the government, the PPP party, to those alleged corruption or corrupt practices, to say, you see why we need to get rid of the PPP? Because these people are affiliated with them, and look at what they are doing. This man, Bashk, talked about the years he's in the business. He talked about that. Irfan Ali is in government for not fully 5 years. All these people who this Bash guy implicated, they were in business a long time. How is it that their business practices or their empire was built during the Irfan Ali administration? How? Irfan just got there. Just got there. How would he be aware of how people get rich? He is now president. PNC was there 2015 to 2020. Wouldn't they be the one to have more insight into what happened during that time? All the businesses, because they had no COVID to deal with. There was no lockdowns. There is no tightening of security at the borders. There was no crisis of invasion. There was no threat from Venezuela like it is now. There was nothing. There was not even the Middle Eastern conflict or the European conflict. None of that. PNC did not have these world issues to deal with. Open and free. They had just a playing ground to enjoy themselves, which they did. And they were not aware of Junior Bashk and his criminal activities. They were not aware of the Muhammad's illegal activities. Of course they were. Of course they were. PNC are blacks, right? Who do these people use to do their dirty work? Black politicians. They get away with a lot of nonsense under black governments in every country, because black people somehow are more susceptible to being bought, to being corrupted. It's just something. Maybe it's genetic. I don't know. It's just black people get weak when they see money. It's just what it is. You can easily buy a black person than somebody else. For you to buy an Indo-Guyanese, not just an Indo-Guyanese, an Indian, you gotta come good. You really gotta come good. An Indian woman, you can't buy her. You either get her for free, or she has to see your worth. And then she will bargain based on your worth. If you get her for free, it means that you're worth it. You're worth more than money. But you can't go to her and say, hey, hey, bitch, come here, I'll give you $100.